Hola, gringas y gringos, and welcome to
Gringos are us.
Expats with a Plan.
I'm Mark.
I'm Gina.
This week, we're going to give you the money from Mérida. Coming up next.
And welcome back. As Mark said, this is our wrap-up of our 3-month stay in Mérida and what we thought about it.
Gonna give you what we like. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of what we didn't like, but there will be a couple of things.
Yeah.
And what it cost us for our 3-month stay right there.
And so, again, I have this pipe dream of spending less than $3,000 per month, which has been almost impossible for various reasons.
Airbnb.
Airbnb is a huge part of it, but there's also the exchange rate differences throughout the year. Those fluctuations do make a difference.
I mean, we've lost basically almost 15%.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, going from 20 to 17, that's 15%. So it's been going between 10 and 15%
Yes,
that
it
we've
has.
lost.
Yes,
And
it has. And if you see me looking over here to the side, it's because I have a little slide deck made up for us to refer to. So occasionally I'll be over here. When we started our journey almost a year ago.
it's coming up. We're in the same month now.
Wow. Exchange rate was about 20 pesos to the US dollar.
Yeah, a little over like 20 and a half at that time. And we were just using the 20 because we were going, all right, the extra half is in our favor. But
At the time we stayed in Mérida, it was about 18 pesos. So
which is not as bad as it was.
that's true.
No.
And some things we paid for in advance in US dollars. So that amount theoretically is always the same for us, but it's changing in the peso amount up and down.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates a little. What you see here is kind of the best guess, best estimate that we have, unless we actually did pay in pesos.
Yeah. I mean, we have to sort of take it the way it goes. And so if you notice that like the insurance may go up from one wrap up to the next, well, the insurance really didn't go up. The peso either rose or fall, and so the peso price changes.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about our Airbnb. There's a video up here if you want to check out the Airbnb in more detail. I did actually put the link for that Airbnb listing, although right now they're doing some remodeling, it might not be listed. But I didn't want to do it while we were living there. But now that we're out, you get the link and you can look the listing up if it's still on Airbnb Live. We actually have come to the conclusion that we pretty much stayed at the most expensive Airbnb to date.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was more expensive than El Tejar.
It was.
Believe it or not.
El Tejar was a luxury house. Huge freaking luxury house. But it was also out in the middle of
Nowhere. Yeah.
You know, so that, but it was next to a river. I mean, there was nice things about it. It was a nice, peaceful, luxury getaway type destination. You know, just to be in the peace and quiet of nature, more or less. This house is colonial. It is in the heart of Centro.
Almost. I mean,
Just about. I mean, it's in.
It's a 15-minute walk, and you're right there at the Grand Plaza.
Yeah,
so.
or a 5-minute walk and you're at La Ermita Church, which is another huge, you know, between Centro, Parque Grande, and La Ermita, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between there.
And San Sebastian.
And San Sebastian. So, yeah. So this was all about location, and we loved it there. We won't say anything otherwise about it, but it was the most expensive Airbnb to date. That Airbnb cost us 51,840 pesos per month.
There goes the budget right there almost.
Yeah, that's the budget. That's $2,880 a month, plus electricity. So, you know, yeah, that was more than I really had anticipated, but I'm not sorry that we stayed there. I felt that the location was awesome. Would I want to pay that every month? No. Again, it's an Airbnb. If that was rent, the rent would have been less than $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
I would have paid that.
For that house?
Yeah.
Sign me up right now.
Absolutely. So,
especially when they get done with the remodel and put the oven in and a dishwasher, and which
not that you need a dishwasher.
not that you need a dishwasher, because the water there was so hot that it was like putting dishes through an autoclave, just running it under the hot water.
It's true. And it turns out to be, so far that is out of 7 cities, the most expensive stay we've had. So in comparison, the Airbnb in San Miguel de Allende, which by the way, we thought was going to be one of the most expensive places to stay, cost us $1,709, $1,709 a month.
And the luxury villa, Riverside villa that we had in El Tejar, only ran us $2,586 for a month. So you can see that, we paid a couple $100 more a month, and it really came down to location.
It sure did.
If you'd have put El Tejar's house in Mérida, they'd have been getting about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Just.
Oh gosh, no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I did look up real estate prices in the area. I mean, after all, we did like it there a lot, and I thought I would just take a gander. You can buy houses in that area that need work for $150,000. You can buy houses that have been fully restored anywhere between $200,000 and $400,000. So it's not like it's super cheap. It's not super cheap. Not at all. And I think that I understand why, even in Mérida, yes, there is a section, a group of people, local, who are not real appreciative right now of, I guess we could say, gringo gentrification is what they're calling it. But we're not going to go too deep into that. Let's just say that there's always somebody, could be somebody local, a national, who's buying up property, fixing it up, and they're going to rent it out.
Well, and there was a report out of Mexico City that Mérida's inflation rate is one of the highest in all of Mexico. It is outpacing the country on a whole. So it's getting a little pricier there, and it sort of shocked us that was the case, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's an international hub of tourism. And so... All right, so for the month, we had 1,107 pesos in activity fees. A little over 1,100 per month in pesos. That's $62 a month. Now, that included basically any archaeological zone trips that we went to, museums.
Well, except for Chichen Itza, and some of us got to go for free. Yeah.
That's in another video.
Yeah.
But basically, your entrance fees to
Uxmal, the chocolate factory, all the archaeological, the museums, and everything else. So that include the movies?
Yes.
See?
And that included the movies because that's an activity. That's entertainment. And of course, that doesn't include all the free things that Mérida has to offer. See that video up there? I mean, we were, he's looking for it. We were pretty active.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of things.
With the exception of that one month where we were sort of, but
Yeah,
once she stopped working, we were busy.
Oh, we got real busy.
Yeah.
Okay, groceries. I'm actually a little pleasantly surprised because, see, Mérida has a Costco. And we went, buck crazy.
We went Costcoing.
We went Costcoing our very first opportunity, and we stocked up because we knew we were going to be there for 3 months.
And then here for 2, and it was close proximity, and we knew that we were going to make a couple trips, so it was like, okay, anything we don't use down there, we could bring up here.
Yeah.
So
we had a pretty hefty bill to start off with, and so I was a little concerned looking at the groceries to see how much we were spending per month. We really didn't do that bad. If I can keep it under $500 a month, I'm happy. But this wasn't that bad. It was $582 a month. So we spent 10,473 pesos per month on our grocery bill in Mérida.
Yeah, most of that was shopping at the Shadrui Itzea right there that was right down the street from us. So
yeah, I mean, we went to Chedraui. I don't know how to say it. I think it's Chedraui, but we went there pretty frequently. And the interesting thing is again, I thought groceries were a little pricier in San Miguel, but you know what? Not really.
No, probably on equivalent.
So next on the list, it's pretty consistent every month. The only thing it seems to change is the number of pesos. We have both Nomad insurance and we have Mexican car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The Mexican car insurance I pay for 1 year up front, and it's $300 and some for the year.
Just under $400 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So per month, that's breaking out to $32 a month, US dollars, because that's what we paid it in.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nomad insurance is $273 per month. And that's it. I mean, it just...
That number may change for the Progresso wrap-up because we will have been here for a year, so we're going to have to renew.
That's true. And when you renew...
And we are a year older.
A year older, that means the rate will go up a little bit, or maybe a lot. I guess we'll find out. Of course, we were also supposed to go to a broker, and that hasn't happened yet.
No, it hadn't.
Oh, my. So let's talk a little bit about our Nomad insurance in case you guys are watching and you might be interested. We have a plan through Safety Wing.
Mm-hmm.
We pay month to month to month. The maximum amount of time that they will extend the policy is 1 year.
Yep.
They base it on your age, not really your health. And it's basically a glorified travel insurance is what it is.
Yeah, it's there as the safety net in case something catastrophic goes wrong. I mean, that's basically what it is. You know, we're willing to go, we'll pay out of pocket on the majority, and that's the way we're rolling with it. And eventually we got to get to a broker here before some of us get too old.
Too old to get insurance. Not you.
No, it must be that fly. Whatever.
So if you are interested in getting coverage through Safety Wing, you will find a link down below in our descriptions. We do get a little bit of a kickback from that, but it doesn't cost you anything extra.
Nope.
Now, then we come to medical expenses. Medical expenses are going to be prescriptions,
Yep.
oddball things we get at the pharmacy. I did not include his hearing aids.
No.
His hearing aids were a large item purchase. They were approximately, I think, about
$1,000 a year.
yeah, $2,000, which is half of what we would have spent in the United States. But not everybody's going to need hearing aids, right? So I didn't.
What? Did you say something? Oh.
I did not include hearing aids in this. This is just your typical, I have to go get a prescription filled, or I needed a tube of hydrocortisone because I had a horrible allergic reaction going on, that kind of thing.
Or
So-
the diarrhea medicines. The things,
Oh.
yeah, the things we tried. So,
Yeah. Okay. Let me put my water down.
and just for anybody's edification on this, we stick primarily to about 4 pharmacies down here. We try to go to similares because they are pretty cheap.
The same medicines, but less.
Yes. And they got Dr. Simi. I mean,
See me.
you know, Guadalajara, YZA, and Ahora. Those
Yeah.
4, they're all through the country. They got great reputations, and we've not had a problem yet. You know, haven't gone to any of the little pop-up mom and pops. Just,
Nope. So our medical expenses were 47 pesos per month. That is less than $3 a month. Personal services.
that includes things like haircuts, our housekeeping. That was basically, I think, all we really did there.
Yeah, we didn't do massages or anything like that. We got 2 expensive haircuts at the mall. Mark got 1 reasonable haircut in Centro. And then we paid for a housekeeper to come in twice a month. That cost us a total of 733 pesos per month, which was 41 US dollars.
Yeah, and most of that was housekeeping.
Most of it was.
I mean, because the haircut that I got in Centro ran me 75 pesos. I mean, granted, shouldn't cost a lot because there's not a lot left there to cut, but, you know.
Right. And then we get to restaurants. And if you're interested in seeing where we ate, we had just recently dropped a video right up here about how Mérida is quite the foodie scene. We ate out quite a bit. And of course, we had a favorite.
Well, La Trato, and, I mean, hard to go wrong. If you're going to go to Merida, do yourself a favor and go to La Trato at least once. And if you go once, you may end up going twice.
That wasn't the favorite I was talking about. I was talking about Las Vegas.
Oh, well. Culinary experience, it would be La Trato. Ambiance, and for a good meal that gives you the feeling of being there in Merida and not being in a tourist trap, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas for the win.
Yes.
We referred many people there. Or we took them
we
with
took
us.
them there, yeah.
Or we took them there. So restaurants, 3,734 pesos per month, or about $208 per month. Not too bad. I mean, and we had some pretty hefty bills, and that includes us eating out on a couple of our day excursions to the beaches and stuff.
Yeah. And a couple of those they weren't overly pricey, but they weren't exactly inexpensive meals either. So you throw those in along with Coyote Maya and 2 trips to La Trato. Thank God we had the other end, which was Las Vegas. It helped offset that price.
All right, so transportation. Transportation ran us 1,275 pesos per month, or 71 US dollars.
That includes what? Gas and Uber and any parking.
Parking, yep. I don't believe I included tolls because we really didn't encounter any tolls except for when we first came and moved there.
Well, except when we went to Chichen Itza.
Oh, but then I probably encountered those. But
yeah,
in general.
They get you for almost 300 pesos to jump on that little short stretch of highway there right outside Chichen Itza.
Yeah, but we did pretty well. I mean, that included gasoline and everything, and that's not so bad. And parking, when it came to parking at some of these places, it might have been 90 pesos or 100 pesos. It wasn't that big a deal.
No. And there's plenty of street parking around Centro, so if you do have a vehicle, it may take you a little bit of surfing along some of the roads, but you can find places to park that aren't going to cost you anything there in Merida.
Surfing.
I mean, we found it on Paseo Montejo.
Surfing.
Just for Sean.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, utilities. This one's a little bigger than our usual list because we did have to pay electricity this time. We had an air conditioner that we pretty much ran 24/7. The only time we turned that thing off was when we left the house for an extended period. And there were 3 bedrooms. All 3 bedrooms had air, but we only ran the air in the room that we were using, and we would open up the doors to that room to cool off, the dining area and stuff so I could work comfortably. So knowing that this air conditioner was running all the time, I was actually pleasantly surprised that the CFE bill came and it wasn't like out of this world crazy. It was running us an average of about 2,000 pesos per month. That seems high, especially if you're used to paying way less here in Mexico. But, that's like what, 140?
It beats what we were paying in Asheville, I can tell you
that.
that.
I mean, we were paying a lot in Asheville. No, and I do understand. Honestly, I'm all for, conserving electricity. I'm all for solar panels and such, but I didn't feel so bad about paying that amount of money for the electricity there to keep the air on because it was hot. It's hot in Mérida.
No, and in that particular house, if you'd have put some solar panels up there on the top of that house, that would have gone a long way, and there was plenty of room to do it. So
maybe that's in their plans in the future.
Know. Yeah.
So that was 6,114 pesos per month. Now, that includes the electricity,
Starlink,
Telcel,
and our U.S. self plans.
And our AT&T plan. That's not so bad. $340 US a month.
Not when 150 of that is almost our USL plan. So
yeah. The wrap up of the budget, got this little disclaimer. It does not include basically all the things that people are not all typically spending money on. So it does not include cigars, streaming services, It doesn't include gifts, mail services, any of the subscriptions that we have. None of that is included here.
Yeah, it doesn't even include our gift to ourselves of getting taken at the store.
No, it does
No.
not, because that was not a typical shopping experience, and
no.
that was us being stupid.
Yep.
And honestly, if we're buying clothes and things like that, unless it is something really, really simple, I'm not even going to include that, because those
No.
are all personal
Yep.
expenses.
Got to replace a shirt? Well, you got to replace a shirt.
Yep.
So,
So what this does include is accommodations, activities, groceries, insurance, medical, personal services, restaurants, transportation, and utilities. And the grand total
is 80,813 pesos.
and that comes out to 4,490 US dollars per month.
Or $150 a day. Ooh, there goes that budget.
Yeah, the budget's long gone. Goodbye. Goodbye, budget. What would happen if that was not an Airbnb and we were just paying rent?
There'd be a lot more pesos in our pocket.
Instead of 80,813 pesos a month, suddenly it becomes,
54,839.
that means that 4,490 USD is suddenly,
Only $3,047.
and instead of $150 a day,
That drops down to 102.
what a difference.
Yes, it is.
So, because we are predominantly doing Airbnbs and we want it to be a little more realistic as far as rent goes, I'm trying to normalize those costs. And as you can see, it was much more affordable and almost within budget at a rental rate.
Yeah, I mean, we know the Airbnb is going to cost us more money, but it is something that gives us the peace of mind and the ability to be able to go, we only need it for a month, we want to do it a year from now, and we're able to plan accordingly. So that's one of those where convenience is worth it for the money.
And so, to summarize our expenses so far in the 7 cities where we have stayed.
Yeah, hard to believe it's been that many already.
I know. Querétaro or Zakia was the least expensive.
But then we paid regular rent there.
We did.
So,
What we thought was going to be the most expensive was San Miguel de Allende, and San Miguel de Allende was not.
no, surprisingly, San Miguel de Allende was right in there along with a lot of others. So it was sort of middle of the road.
This was, in Mérida, the most expensive place we've stayed.
And a lot of that is housing. I mean, the Airbnb price there, I mean, it was $1,000 a month more than what we paid in San Miguel. So that's the majority of the difference right there.
That's true, yeah.
So if you take that $1,000 a month out, it ends up almost being a wash.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the easy stuff. What are the things that you didn't like about Mérida?
The trash. I mean, literally, that's all I can really say.
I would agree. It was the trash. We didn't like the trash. And after hearing for so long all the various reasons why Mérida is called the White City and how clean it is, no, that's not true. That's not true. It's a beautiful city. And in the more popular, more visited touristy areas, yeah, it is cleaner. But we were in some areas that, yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Doesn't smell.
No.
It's just a lot of people just throwing their stuff wherever they happen to be, sticking it in someone's window, or just setting it down on the sidewalk and leaving it there. And I do mean setting it down, not tossing. I mean, like they literally would set a bottle on the sidewalk and leave it there.
Well, they didn't want to break it.
Yeah, which is nice. Thank you for not creating broken glass. But that was the one thing, the one and the only thing that I did not like was the trash. Yeah.
I would say that, I mean, I can't fault the weather. I mean, Was it hot at times? Yes. Was it really hot at times? Yes. But but you sort of adjust your schedule and you learn there are certain tricks, like if you're somebody like me that sweats a lot, you take a hand towel with you just to wipe yourself off, because, I mean...
No, and hopefully you have a dippy pool to help you alleviate some of that.
Oh, that's almost a must.
I have to say now, and it was also mentioned that we didn't previously talk about how stifling hot it is in Mérida. Well, yes, it is. If you cannot handle the humidity in southern Florida,
Or New Orleans, or Houston, places that have got very high levels of humidity and a good level of heat as well, you're going to suffer.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's hot and it's humid. You will have a glow to your skin all day, even in the evening when the sun goes down. We would walk. I mean, I never in my life had scalp sweat. I had scalp sweat all the time in Mérida.
Now she gets to experience what I go through all the time.
I know.
She gets a glow, I get a drip. I mean, it's just...
And I started to get the drips. The drips started running down into my eyes, and yeah.
That's why I take a hand towel with me.
Yeah, but when you have makeup, you don't want to hand towel your face.
I get that.
Which I went and I bought some foundation, and I was just amazed at how it was so thick and covered so well. And then I would wash my hands, and I had to use extra soap to get it off because the water would just bead on it. Now I know why.
Yeah.
If you're sweating all the time, you don't want your makeup just sweating and running off your face. Incredible.
But yeah, it's warm. And the pool was almost a must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So the sun's starting to come down into my face, and I hope that it doesn't make us look really weird right now. I'm going to try to wrap this up. Things we love about Mérida.
The cultural sharing that goes on. I mean,
there is so much history and culture. It seems like they're proud of it. At times, some of the things that they do seem more like propaganda.
Well, it's a 30-minute show. They couldn't. They really, if they wanted to go into it deeply, we'd still be sitting there.
And yet there are still pieces of art and things to see and stories to learn all about the Mayan culture.
The Mayan culture.
The struggle and how they've reclaimed their heritage post-colonial. You know.
And there's parts of about the Spanish conquest and everything else. So, I mean, it's not glossing over and avoiding anything. And there were good things that occurred. There were a lot of bad things that have occurred. And the best part is, I think that they have taken that and they've sort of embraced the best out of all of it, put it together and gone, let's go forward.
So we've got that, and we've got the food.
Oh,
Yucatecan food, my goodness, is some of the best food I have ever eaten in my life.
Gotta love that pork.
You know, cochinita pibil, pork choke, sopa de lima, the sabultes, the panuchos, the marquesitas. I mean, moltonenos, just on and on and on. There's so many, and there's things we didn't get to try. I actually made a list while we're in Progreso of things we still need to try. So yeah, the food is amazing. So that's just the Yucatecan food. Now let's talk about the food scene in Mérida. Everything you want is there. There is Lebanese, there is Korean, there is Italian. Of course, there's obviously different parts of Mexican cuisine because you can get Oaxacan, and of course you can get Yucatecan. I mean, it's just on and on and on.
Chinese,
and yeah. I mean, the options are there. So if you like to eat, you're going to find lots of great places to eat. Walkability is great.
Oh, I would say that it is easily on par with San Luis Potosí as far as walkability.
Yeah, I mean, the little bit of cobblestone there is flat, easy cobblestone, like French cobblestone or brick. Easy to walk.
And they're even taking some of that out and putting concrete down.
In some cases,
yeah. We saw a couple of roads that they were actually, milling up the top part of it, and they're putting smooth concrete down. So they are constantly trying to upgrade. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on infrastructure-wise there in Mérida. The airport We picked up two different people from the airport. Both sets raved about how easily they were able to get in and out of the airport. We didn't personally take advantage of that, but they said it was simple, that it was signed in both Spanish and English, which made it very easy for, any vet in Arlene, it doesn't matter. Put it in Spanish, they're still good. But but for Ray and Cheryl, they had both languages, which made it easier for them to navigate the airport. The airport is not in the city, but it's not a far drive. I mean, you compare Querétaro's airport to Mérida's, and it's a fraction of the time to get to the one in Mérida.
And it's a straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to say that I didn't feel noise level was that bad, and we were in a busy part. We were in a busy part of town where the ambulance would go by frequently, where horse and carriage would ride by frequently. There were numerous horns that would get blown whenever someone was approaching an intersection because one had right of way, one didn't. But it really wasn't that noisy.
No, I mean,
No.
It's amazing that with time over here or spent down here, the ability to suddenly acclimate yourself to what used to be
We're tuning them out.
things that you would go, man, that just frustrated me in the States. Here,
No.
it's the white noise that you
No.
just get used to.
The ability to shop as big or as small as you want, because you're going to have local tiendas, and you're going to have food carts and loncherias and just whatever. All that's going to be local. But then if you want to go to a bigger restaurant, if you want to go to a big box store or the mall, you can. They have numerous malls. I can't even tell you how many, but a lot of them are up north of Centro. And it's just place after place after place you can shop. And all the major big box stores that you're looking for are there, if that's what you want. So,
Traffic was really not bad.
no, it really wasn't.
Drove through Central several times and never really had many problems as far as doing that. Made 2 different runs to the airport, easy peasy, going back and forth from the airport. Going on any of our day excursions.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention this only because this was the first time that we really, really saw this blatantly. But there is a little bit of unrest and a little bit of dissonance with regard to the presence of gringos. It's not blatant. It's not anything we experienced personally.
No.
But we saw it, and this was the first time that we saw it. And it's our understanding that, yes, as Mark said previously, the inflation rate in Mérida is through the roof compared to the rest of the country. And it's really easy when you associate a city that has long been a haven for expats to be the cause of that. So there are people who are hurting financially, and we understand that. And they're looking for someone or something to blame, and it's really easy to say, this is because of these gringos coming in here. I don't know how much of that is true.
Well,
but it is the first place where we actually saw signs of that.
That's a multifaceted problem
It
that
is.
you can't just blame on one particular group of people. It's, it takes a lot that goes into that. So,
Yeah, but I thought it was worth mentioning because of every place we've been so far, that's the first time we've seen signs of it.
now, did we encounter anybody that we would say, oh, they were very unpleasant? Nope.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Everyone was very welcoming with us.
Yep.
Very much so.
As has been our experience for almost this entire year.
Yeah.
The people were so friendly and nice, and every time we go to a festival or something, it was fantastic how enjoyable it was to spend time with them.
Yep.
And everything else. And the more we get acclimated and assimilate ourselves into the society, the more fun we're actually even having. So it's just continuing to rise on the best. So
I have to say, we did not go into any of those north gated communities where there is a lot of new growth and building going on. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that if I was going to live in a city like Mérida, I would want to be closer to Centro.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
mean,
be walking distance to things, and I would love to have that colonial feel.
well, and one of the other things that we've wanted to experience and determine was, do we want to be in a condo community? Do we want a casa? I mean, because it's two different ways of living, and we've done, the condo bit basically in Zakia and San Miguel de Allende, and also in San Luis Potosi. And there's a couple of things. Number one, every condo we've been in, folks, when these things are made of concrete, you can't hear your neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear them outside, but when you're inside the house, it is quiet.
Yeah.
So there's not this, oh, they're walking up on top of me. Well, you're not going to hear it. But we want to determine which one, when it's time to toss out anchor, do we want a house? Do we want a condo? And I would probably say right now it's probably looking more like a house.
I'd say you're right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed where we stayed. And when you're a history buff, it just adds to that experience. So I think that we could say pretty confidently that Mérida is high up on the list.
Well, we can confidently say that it's going to get a lot of consideration when it's time to look at all the 20 some odd cities. There's some that we know are going to get, but Mérida is going to require a lot of thought because it has things that are positive, and but we don't know what's coming down the road. There may be something that just blows our socks off. Hey,
That's true. I mean, it's high on the list at the moment. And again, trash, that's not enough to knock it off the list.
no.
The heat, yeah, it could be stifling, but it's still not enough to knock it off the list. So, yeah, it's high up there.
Yeah.
Totally understand why people like Mérida so much.
Well, yeah, and I mean the total feel of safety and comfort, and I can tell you we've had several of the nationals and locals who have told us, and they're proud of the fact that the state of Yucatan is the safest in all of Mexico, and we're not going to have anything that'll say to the other effect of that, because we never at any time felt unsafe. Nope.
So that is our wrap up of Mérida. What do you think? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. We are Gringos Are Us.
Expats with a plan.
Remember, we
We're
are doing it.
You can too. There's some other videos that you might want to check out.
Hasta la próxima vez.
Adios.